Department is now investigating Hillary Clinton's emails and the Clinton Foundation. These kinds of probes were shut down in 2016 for lack of evidence. My panel is back with me, and Jen, I promised you could go first. So the floor is yours.
Sure. Well, two things. I think that the suggestion this is some Trumpian DOJ rush to judgment, I think, is not correct. I think no one would accuse Attorney General Jeff Sessions of rushing to judgment.
If anything,
I'll accuse him of it.
If anything, Republicans like myself think he's been a little slow to act. He's been slow to get involved. So I don't think this is some sort of rush to judgment here. Secondly, I don't think this is, some New York field office at the FBI in the pocket of Donald Trump going after the Clintons. You have several reports that say there are FBI agents in Little Rock, the hometown of the Clintons, sniffing around issues such as, did the Clintons abuse their tax-exempt status? Did they participate in a pay-to-play scandal? When it gets that close, it reminds me of the old mob boss cases where people went to jail not because of the big pay-to-play scandal, but because of tax evasion and minor issues.
That sounds like Donald Trump. What you just said sounds exactly like Donald Trump. Do you think Donald Trump's foundation should be investigated by the DOJ?
No, I don't.
Even though it has been found to have used money from the foundation to buy portraits of himself to potentially pay off the Attorney General in Florida. There's been a lot that's been uncovered that's been real. What you talked about in Arkansas, they were going around and doing interviews that my reading of that New York Times story is that they don't have a lot. They're just doing interviews. So they haven't found anything. Well, I'm sorry. Who's jumping in?
Me. Joe.
Joe.
May I?
I can't see you. Go.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know what's happening in Arkansas is they've appointed a crony of Mike Huckabee as the interim U.S. attorney. And he's pretending to investigate this. And, they will find nothing there. I'd like to, make a wager with Jen, any amount you want, that any criminal charges ever filed against the Clinton Foundation or anybody associated with it. What do you say? Let's go right now. Let's
do it. I'm not like Mitt Romney. I don't have $10,000 to lay down on a bet, but we can come back on the show
what would you bet?
Settle that.
Tell me, you want to bet that there'll be somebody criminally indicted in the Clinton Foundation. You're going to say that now?
Look, I think when there's local FBI agents, there are folks familiar with the investigation said that they were asking substantive questions, the likes of which they had not seen before.
What folks? You have to say what folks.
This is according to the New York Times report.
Can we pull up the New York Times report and I'll read it? Just somebody print it out for me and we'll bring it back over here. So if we could just get me a copy of that New York Times report and I'll just read it on the air. And we'll table that until I can get the report and read it. Tim O'Brien, this is the tit for tat.